Hey everyone, I'm Muskan and today I'm going to be telling you about how I set up my bookshelf in my new house, and by end of the video I'll also give a bookshelf tour, so stay tuned for that. So, I recently shifted to a new house and I realized that I had like a whole block of empty space which could use some furnishing. And trust me, I had like so much furnishing already. So, I was like, "Ki, what can I add?" So, then I remembered that I had this bookshelf sitting in my parents' storage cabinet since I moved out and they started renovating their place. So, it just been sitting there and all of my books had been packed up. So I decided to ship it all here. And then, with the help of my two flatmates, Garima and Kokil, I decided to paint it. And this is not how it looked before. It was white, it had like glass doors, and basically, it was very boring. So, there was a lot of kerfuffles. Kerfuffles. See, I don't lie, I actually read. There was a lot of discussion basically that what color should it be painted. I was honestly game for pink before, but then I was like super game for like a very dark green. But these flatmates of mine, they convinced me that pastel green is the way to go, and this is how it is. And I think, well, mine would have been better, but this is fine, guys. I love how it turned out, don't you? Now I'm just going to take you through the whole process of how this bookshelf turned out to be this beauty right behind me. So I started the process by scrubbing the bookshelf with a sandpaper, and then my flatmates took pity on me since I was doing that alone at 10 p.m. in the night and decided to join me. And then came the time for primer, which I would have not known had they not been artists. It was fun basically, and we applied the primer and let it dry off till the whole night. And then next day came the task of painting the bookshelf. So we painted it on a Saturday afternoon in July in Gurgaon, NCR, Delhi. So if you're a native, you know how hot it would have been. In the time lapse, it looks like the wind is blowing, but don't be fooled, guys. It was really, really hot. And that was the finished look before setting up all the books. So yeah, that was the process of painting it basically. And then I had to like search through all of those piles and decide how it will go. As you can see, like I have a lot of fantasy books. I was like super into fantasy and some romance and some non-fiction books. So it was obvious I had to fit in all of my fantasy books first. Since I have a lot of books which are series and have to be together since they're from the same author. So it took a lot of permutation and combination to decide which series would go where, and you will see me like first putting one series at one place and then changing my mind completely and then shifting the full series altogether. Setting it up was a big task, but I really enjoyed it since I've not done this in like 6 years. Setting up this bookshelf was a big task, and I finished it. And now it's time for the bookshelf tour. The first shelf has all fantasy books, as you can see. So first we have all 3 books from the Shatami series by Tare Mafi, and one of her other books, Furthermore, which I did not end up finishing. I have 3 Dark Crowns and 1 Dark Throne, and then I have my Cassandra Clare book collection. Let me just shift so that you can see all of it at once. I have the Infernal Devices trilogy, all 7 of the Mortal Instrument books, 2 of the bonus books, Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, The Bane Chronicles, and then my favorite, the Dark Artifices trilogy. I also have this one other book, The Iron Trial, which she wrote in collaboration with Holly Black. I never finished it. I started reading and never finished. And now it's time for the second shelf, which is also full of fantasy books. Yeah, I read a lot of fantasy books, guys. So first we have the Kiss of Deception series. Like I have 2 of the books, I don't have the whole series. And then I have some mixed books from different authors here. And now moving on to one of my favorite authors, Rick Riordan. These are the original Percy Jackson books. I'm missing Battle of Labyrinth. Like I lent it to somebody years ago, I don't even remember who, and they never ended up returning it. And then I have the Heroes of Olympus series, Lost Hero, Son of Neptune, Mark of Athena, House of Hades, and The Blood of Olympus. And then I have the Red Pyramid and Throne of Fire, which is Rick's venture into the Egyptian gods, which I did not really enjoy that much. I loved his venture into Norse gods. Like the Magnus Chase trilogy, it was amazing. It was like really funny, like most of Rick's books are. The Sword of Summer, The Hammer of Thor, and Ship of the Dead. Like it's not in order because when I bought the Ship of the Dead, like I ordered it through Amazon. I did not know they would send me this kiddie version. So suck it, it's not in order because of that. And then I have 3 books from the Trials of Apollo series. I've read all of them. They're absolutely amazing. I just don't have the physical copies of all of them right now. Guess which genre this shelf is? Fantasy. Here I have another one of my favorite authors, Sarah J. Maas. If you read fantasy books, I'm sure you've heard her name. Like these books are what I lived for when I was in school. Like I used to wait for the next book to release. So my favorite book from this series could either be Queen of Shadows or Kingdom of Ash. But I would pick Kingdom of Ash because it was so epic. And if you want to know more about it, so basically it's set in a fantasy world where there's a monarchy. And then we follow this badass female protagonist, Selena, who later changes her name to Aelin. Like doesn't change her name, but I will not give spoiler, guys. This is not a spoiler. Well, bro. And next we have A Coat of Thorns and Roses series. Basically, this is one of the quickest fantasy reads you'll ever come across. Like if you are somebody who wants to get into fantasy books, like this trilogy is your way into it. And then I have a couple of books from a couple of standalone books, and then I have, of course, the Hunger Games series. I have the movie box set that these guys came out with, and I'm sure like I don't need to add a caption for the Hunger Games, guys. And I have one book from the Divergent series, which was like a cheap copy of Hunger Games, but to each its own, guys. To each its own. I did not enjoy it that much. Anyway, and then I have the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I was really obsessed with these books. Like it has aliens and stuff. I would personally never go for something like that at my age right now, but I literally finished both of these books in 4 days, guys. In 4 days. And each of them are 800 pages long. So if you're in high school and looking for sci-fi book series to read, I think this is a very good series to start with. And I have a couple of books from the Dune series. I did not end up finishing the books, but like the books are so pretty, guys. So pretty. Okay. And now we're on to the 4th shelf. I swear, guys, this is the last fantasy bookshelf. I swear. So I have the picture book editions of the Harry Potter books. I have the Philosopher's Stone, the Chamber of Secrets, and The Prisoner of Azkaban. These books have amazing art in them. So I basically loved going through these and rereading the Harry Potter series again. Oops. My ticket for the platform 9 3/4 just dropped, guys. There you go, back. And this is my Hogwarts letter, guys. I would have totally gone if my mother would have let me. Muggles. And this is a box set I have of all the books in the series, and it has a very pretty back also. And then I have the Hogwarts Library, which has Tales of Beetle the Bard, Quidditch Through the Ages, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Moving on to the last section of the fantasy books. See, it does end. I have the selection series by Kiera Cass, the original trilogy, 2 of the bonus books, the spin-off duology, and 1 other book by the same author which I didn't really enjoy. And I have these 4 books by some mixed authors: Dan Brown, Red Queen, of course, Teardrop by Lauren Kate, and The Last of the Fire Drakes. So my 5th shelf is the contemporary shelf, where I have mixed books from a lot of authors. I have 4 of the John Green books: Looking for Alaska, Fault in Our Stars, Turtles All the Way Down, Paper Towns. I really enjoyed Looking for Alaska and Turtles All the Way Down, and of course The Fault in Our Stars. But I did not really enjoy Paper Towns. It was not up to the John Green mark. And one of the books that I really loved out of these is, of course, I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. It is a story of 2 twins who were very close when they were 13, and then 3 years later, we don't know what happened between them. So we have this very fun present and past stories going on. So Jude and Noah, one of them tells us what's going on in the present, and the other one tells us what happened in the past. So it's a very nice thriller sort of a contemporary book. And I have 3 classics: Wuthering Heights, Little Women, and Tess of the D'Urbervilles. I think that's how it's pronounced. I've read Little Women, I've read Wuthering Heights, I've yet to read Tess of the D'Urbervilles. Murakami's Norwegian Wood, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and Me Before You, of course, by Jojo Moyes. This is the book Me Before You movie is based on, starring Emilia Clarke. I have If I Stay, Everything I Never Told You, and 13 Reasons Why. The last of the contemporary books are, of course, my Colleen Hoover collection. I love Colleen Hoover books. If you're into contemporary books, I am sure you've read Colleen Hoover or at least heard about it. There are a bunch of pretty famous books on YouTube and TikTok. The movie for this is also supposed to come out this year. It stars Blake Lively, and I'm really excited to see how it'll turn out. My favorite out of these books is, of course, Slammed. It's the first book that Colleen wrote, and it's the first book that I read of hers, and I instantly became hooked to all of her books. If you've not read Slammed, I would totally recommend. And if you're somebody who wants to get into young adult romance books, Colleen Hoover is the way to go. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. And then I have Beautiful Disaster by Jamie Maguire. I don't know, I think there are a lot of contradicting opinions on this book. But when I was a kid, I was totally hooked, and I really loved this book. But the movie that came out was really horrible. So the last shelf has a mix of all the books that I couldn't fit anywhere else. The left section has mostly some non-fiction books, some political books, some of Paulo Coelho's books, some business books. And when we come to the right, we have a couple of Sidney Sheldon books, we have To Kill a Mockingbird, we have Winger, we have some authors that I read but never liked, and some of the books that I don't know why I bought, honestly. So for those of you who stayed till now, there is a bonus bookshelf tour. It's not a bookshelf, it's just a stand that I have. And this has some of the books that I couldn't fit in my bookshelf. I'm already out of space. I don't know how I'll manage. So here I have rest of my non-fiction books. I have 2 books from Gautam Bhatia, 1 from Shashi Tharoor, 1 from Natasha Kaul, 1 from Anirudh Krishna, The Broken Ladder. I actually did a research paper on it back in college. I have 1 of Amartya Sen's, The Argumentative Indian, Ravish Kumar's The Free Voice, 1 book from Harinder Sikka Calling Sehmat. I think this is the book Razi, the movie starring Alia Bhatt, was based on, I'm not sure. And then I have my Arundhati Roy collection. I love Arundhati Roy's books. I don't have all of the books, but I have most of them. I also have a signed copy, guys. A signed copy. Also, this is one of the most amazing books I've ever read. If you want to, and it's fiction, guys. The Ministry of Utmost Happiness and The God of Small Things both are fiction books, and these are really, really amazing and heart touching. And that's it. That's all the books that I own. So that was the bookshelf tour, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to start reviewing these books on my channel soon. So be sure to let me know in the comments below which book you want me to review first. Bye.